Hello everybody and welcome to this video on managing and understanding grief and anxiety during this great global pandemic. My name is Charlotte.elea and I'm a clairvoyant guide and healer, and I'm going to walk you through in this video 3 tools that have been divinely downloaded to me in my dreams in the past couple of weeks, and which I have then brought into my own spiritual and self-care practices to really unlock, unload, and practice and make use of. And so now I am ready to come on video and share these tools with you, which I think will really help you navigate everything that you are feeling and experiencing during this time, which is tremendous, We are all feeling what our own experience and all the ways that we're being personally impacted by what's going on globally, as well as how our friends and family are being impacted, and as the global community of humanity is being impacted, really. So it is tremendous, and I honor each one and every one of you who is watching this video and taking great care and responsibility of how to manage this, how to move through this in the most present and self-responsible and loving way possible. Okay. So the 3 pieces I'm going to share with you are, I'm going to name them first and I'm going to walk you through each of them. So Scalar Waves is the first one, the Fallen Leaf is the second one, and the Spinning Flower. So I received these as actual symbols and images and words in my dreams, and I wasn't really given any explanation for them. And then I, as I mentioned before, unlocked them through my own journeying, through my own practice. Okay, so let's dive into the first one, which is Scalar Waves. S-C-A-L-A-R, scalar. And I actually didn't know what this word meant. I had to look it up. And so scalar is a really interesting word. It's actually a word from physics that describes something that has mass and density but does not take on a direction. So it's something that is growing and building but isn't going one particular direction. And what I have learned to discover is that the scalar wave is what is describing what is happening emotionally within the collective that is impacting all of us. So what this means is that our emotions, your emotions, though they are experienced in very personal ways, is actually not necessarily coming from within you, that we're all actually within these waves and we're going to be experiencing the waves at different moments. This means that one day you might be feeling incredibly peaceful and calm, and the next day the wave is going to hit you and you're going to all of a sudden feel like you are in the state of great anxiety, great grief. And the way that it's experienced, though, so this is a collective wave that we're all kind of catching at different moments, and whenever we participate in it, it actually increases that wave, right? So if we are actually feeling the collective energies and amplifying them within ourselves, we're actually increasing the wave collectively, so which means that it's going to be then felt greater amongst everybody. Versus if we're able to kind of come into a place of deep witness within ourselves and acceptance and process what we are feeling, which I'm going to give you tools to do in this video, then we can help actually decrease the magnitude of this wave. So the way that this wave works is, even though it is coming from and experienced within the collective, it is a collective wave, we actually experience it very personally. So what I mean by that is that there are fractals fractals are little prisms that then reflect everything all around it. So the fractal is what it does is the wave hits you and it's going to hook onto your own personal experience. So you might experience one day, say you are socially isolating, but you have to go out and get groceries, and there's something in that experience that just really triggers your anxiety. Or you just wake up and all of a sudden you're in deep grief about having to give up something that has been really important to you. Maybe it's something in your social life, maybe it's something in your financial, and you're realizing that you have to give this up, and that also creates a lot of anxiety. And then that triggers a process of grief. So it feels incredibly personal, and yet is also part of the greater collective. And so having that greater awareness that this is experienced personally, but also held within the collective, allows you to see sort of it allows you to sort of expand your sense of self, which then gives you a way to, I don't want to say not take it personally, because of course we're going to take it personally, but allows you to have a sort of and experience with it, that like, yes, I'm going through this, and also yes, this is also I'm experiencing this because it's reflected in the collective as well. What this also means is that hook might also hook onto something that is not actually happening right now in the present. So it actually might surface past grief that is unresolved. And so do not be surprised if all of a sudden something from your past, which you thought that you had processed and moved through, has come back again. That is because it is hooking onto the scalar wave is a cross-dimensional wave, and so it very well may actually hook onto something from our past, maybe even deeply within our ancestral lines as well. So don't be surprised if you're somebody who does connect really deeply into doing ancestral work, past lives, that hooks onto something there and brings it up. It very well may also hook onto something from childhood or younger adulthood. Okay, so that is sort of how this scalar wave operates. And the other piece I want to share about this is that there is a relationship right now, very, very close relationship between anxiety and grief. Anxiety that is happening right now in the collective is a manifestation of the grief. The scalar wave is actually a wave of grief. And the anxiety is like, so if you see like a picture of a wave, the anxiety is actually sort of the crest, like the very front, the first thing that sort of that hits you. And there's some of us who will get kind of stuck in that anxiety. And anxiety it's felt very physically, but our minds hook onto it, and our minds often start spinning. I'm going to share some tools for when that begins to happen later in this video. So this gives you a greater perspective that when you start to feel that anxiety, know that it is a part of the grieving process, and that it is actually asking you to tune into something that you are very much afraid of letting go of. Whenever we step into the unknown, which we are all deeply in the unknown right now, and anxiety is how we start to react to the unknown, and then grief is actually what we need to move through in order to cope with the unknown and come to the other side of it and to regain our power. So we need to grieve. To say that again, we need to grieve. It's not wrong that you're experiencing anxiety. It's actually just simply a sign that there is something that your body desires for you to grieve right now. And so I'm going to move into the next piece because this connects right in, because this connects into acceptance. So the second symbol that's come through, the second tool, is the fallen leaf. The fallen leaf. And this takes us right into tree wisdom. And so if you think about a tree, trees are so magnificent in their physicality, right? Everything you witness about a tree is how grand it is in its physicality. So tree wisdom right now is coming through for all of us to really honor, embrace the wisdom of our physicality in our bodies. Your body knows what to do. Your body knows what to do. So the fallen leaf is all about how our body knows how to release. And I've actually seen in my feeds lately, a lot of healers are actually talking about trees and connecting to trees. This is no coincidence or mistake, because trees are really calling us right now to listen to them and to receive their wisdom. They have a lot to teach us right now. So the way that trees release is simply by dropping their leaves. And when a tree is getting ready to drop its leaf, it doesn't go like, oh my God, ah! And it doesn't like retract, right? It doesn't need to do anything. It simply comes into a deep awareness. This leaf has completed itself. I no longer need it. Thank you, leaf. And then it lets it go. We can be in the same process in our grief cycles. When we are experiencing and moving through emotions, the first step is acceptance. The first step is to really be in a great acceptance for what we are moving through and what we're feeling. This means that as you get hit by another wave, right? One day you might be feeling great. The next day you wake up and you're like, something is off. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling anxious. I'm just in a bad mood. Whatever it is, it's a moment to step back, to request a little time off work if you're working from home, if you've got other projects or kids that need your attention, to take care, to request some time to yourself, and to be with what you feel. I can't stress this enough. This is such an important step in the release process, to just simply be with what you feel without judging it, without analyzing it. And this is, again, being part of the physicality of what you're feeling. Through that process of being, that is all you need to actually do. That is all you need to do, because the wisdom of the fallen leaf tells us that the body then takes it from there. Acceptance allows you to simply be present with what you're feeling, and then your body does the rest. I want to talk, before I go into how the body is releasing, I want to talk about how the body processes the grief. So what I have witnessed within myself as I've been working through this wisdom of the fallen leaf is that I have been feeling it in my heart space. I literally feel a tightness, an ache in my chest, which then moves into the lymph nodes that are here underneath the breasts and in the armpits. I also feel it moving through down my neck. And so I have just been sitting with that pain and giving gentle massages to myself, doing tapping, doing rubbing, and just helping that process of release moving through my chest and my heart space. You may also be feeling it in different parts of your body. So wherever your body tends to be a little bit more, I would say, vulnerable, where you have experienced pain or injuries in the past, don't be surprised if that part of your body starts to sort of flare up right now, because this is sort of your body's chosen drainage system. And so wherever you may be feeling pain, know that that pain very well may be connected to an emotional release process. And to simply just give loving care energy to that part of yourself. You don't need to go into, deep massage or rubbing or trying to get it out. Just simply bringing loving awareness and care to that part of yourself. Gentleness is all that is needed right now to that part of yourself. And then that may actually then move into your heart space. Our heart space is where we process grief. So as we allow our bodies to process the grief, then we move into a release cycle. And I can't stress this enough. There is no need to do any cleanses, any major purgings, anything that you need to force your body to release. All of this release is, and I just heard this message, this is the strongest message that I received, is that we can allow this to be a gentle, loving process. We release through our natural processes of release, which are tears, sweat, urine, excrement. We're literally pooping and peeing it out. We're crying it out. We're sweating it out. So if you have a hot flash, if you wake up covered in sweat, take a shower and just know that it is gone. There's other ways that you may not even notice it because, we poop and pee every day. If you're a crier and you just feeling that sort of surging coming into your throat and your chest, allowing yourself some time to just cry it out and know that as you do, it's gone. It's gone. That is your body's version of releasing the leaf. All right, so moving on then to the third tool, which is the spinning flower. So this is a tool about how we can get caught in the sort of panic and anxiety that's happening. And there is a major human tendency to kind of go detach our bodies from the rest, to detach our heads from the rest of our bodies. And in that sense, we become a spinning flower. The flower just starts going woo, 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 as if our head is spinning, right? So you can think of your head spinning as in when you go into sort of spinning thoughts, like you kind of keep thinking the same thing over and over and over again and you can't get out of it, or you keep talking about and processing the same thing over and over again with a friend or colleague, and you think it's helping them in the moment, but then your mind just keeps obsessing over it. So this is a sign that your head is you're becoming a spinning flower, which is beautiful and sweet. I mean, isn't that the cutest symbol ever, a spinning flower? And it's really just a sign to bring your head back into connection with your body. And the way we do this is to practice some deeply rooting and grounding practices, physical activities. Deeply rooting and grounding physical activities. So you may actually notice that when you start to feeling anxious or grief, that you feel mentally tired, but your body actually wants to be moving and doing things. Yeah, so that's a big theme that's sort of happening for all of us, is that our bodies actually want to be active right now. It's actually, in the northern hemisphere, it's springtime. And so the natural world is waking up. And our bodies are too. It's just our minds really want to rest. So this means engaging in things that activate the physical body and get it engaged and let the mind rest, like cooking and baking, gardening, yoga, walks outside. Another really great one is cleaning and reorganizing your home. And that pertains to those in the southern hemisphere as well, as you are moving into autumn. There is also that push in waking up in autumn time as you are preparing then to go under. So let your bodies kind of discover new ways of coming into natural rhythms and cycles. So this is another shift that's happening, is that a lot of us are losing the human artificial rhythms and cycles don't really have meanings anymore. Like what day of the week it is, what schedule I'm on for when I work out and when I eat and when I wake up in the morning, which has to do with sort of the obligations that we had prior to this pandemic, and all of that has shifted. And so some of us are in this place of like, what is my cycle now? What is the rhythm? What even day of the week is it? And what we can do is we can actually reground into natural rhythms and cycles. This is a really great, profound gift of this time, actually. So begin to notice, what phase of the moon is it? Begin to notice what time is dawn, what time is dusk. And start aligning yourself with those phases. If you are a woman who menstruates, begin to notice exactly where you are in your cycle and note that. So these are all the natural rhythms and phases that we can attune to in order to bring structure to our lives, and also to help us root and ground into the physical world around us. Even if we are not able to get outside and we are staying inside, right? Some of us are able to move about in the world. Some of us have backyards and can take walks in nature or just in our neighborhoods. And some of us are confined inside. And this is something we can do regardless of either one. Okay. So just a final note is that all of this is leading us to discover greater self-expression of our natural gifts. And so I can't stress this enough, to allow ourselves to really embrace these waves and cycles of grief, and to use these tools to help us move through those cycles. As we move through those cycles, it's actually guiding us towards a greater expression of our own natural gifts, a greater understanding of who we really are, and a releasing of so many of these external layers and protections that are ready to go. We are, in some ways, the leaf that's shedding her leaves. And as we release those leaves, we really come into a place of being able to nurture the gifts within ourselves that want to be expressed. So, with that said, these cycles of grief do guide us to incredible moments of inspiration and creativity, and to embrace those moments as well. I've heard from a lot of people that they're feeling really guilty when they feel good right now. And I just want to let you know to allow those times, that your feeling good does not take away or diminish or invalidate anyone who may be going through a hard time. It actually helps amplify the other waves that are happening, the waves of hope and of creativity and of this innovation and perseverance that is like sort of the crest and the wave of the human spirit that is rising through and above all of this. We need both. So amplify that as well, embrace that when you're feeling inspired, when you're feeling calm, when you're feeling these moments of trust. We need that as well. And in fact, being able to embrace that may actually guide you and allow you to be in a greater place of compassion and kindness towards those who are in the more difficult waves of anxiety and grief. And know that it can shift at any moment. And as it does, that's also as it needs to be. All right, everybody, I'm sending you love, and be well. Take care, and please be kind. Thank you.